Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I'm continuing on this list of my 100 favorite movies from the 1980s. This is because of Ryan Conway from Real Talks with Ryan. He won my contest, my Oscar predicting contest. And so he wanted me to do a ranking of my favorite 80s movies. So we already did 100 through 91. So now we'll do 90 through 81 in this list. So let's get to it. All right, starting with number 90, this is definitely one of the big classic action movies, and that is Predator. Big Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Pretty good cast all around. He even got Jesse Ventura in here, Carl Weathers as well. Obviously, the star of the show is the Predator itself. I want to say maybe even won an Oscar. I wouldn't be surprised. The makeup work is absolutely outstanding. The actor who plays the Predator character, when he takes off his mask and he opens up and he's got that mouth. What an incredible design for an alien character. Very scary, very intimidating. Yeah, this is a movie I saw when I was a kid on TV and saw the edited version, so I didn't see the full on rated R violent version of this movie. And I was definitely intrigued as a kid because, man, the Predator character was very scary, very kind of cool character, unstoppable. How he hunts everybody and kills almost everybody but Arnold Schwarzenegger. And of course, I was a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid. Definitely the biggest action star of the 80s. He was great. I watched like every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie because I love the action movies. So I had put this in the list, even though it's not a movie. I'm not a big fan of the Predator series. It's a little too violent at times for me, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. It's just not a series that I'm like a huge fan of now as I was as a kid. But I had to put it in my list of 80s movies because it's just one of the iconic 80s action movies, I guess. So I put it here at number 90, Predator. Number 89, I put Harry and the Hendersons. If you don't know Harry and the Hendersons, it's about Bigfoot, basically, is Harry. The Hendersons is a family. John Lithgow is the father of this family. And this is a movie I had on VHS. And that's why I have it here, because I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I was like, when I was doing this list, I was like, I gotta put Harry Henderson's in here. I loved this movie as a kid. Watched it many, many times. But basically, Lithgow runs over Bigfoot, and I don't know if he thinks it's dead, but I think he puts it. He doesn't know what it is. He's like, "What the heck did I hit?" And I guess he puts it maybe on his car or something. I don't know how he gets it home, but it's not dead. It comes alive and then starts wrecking the garage, and they find it like in the refrigerator. But Harry is actually a nice Bigfoot, and actually become very good friends. Even though it can't talk or anything. Again, great makeup work. Absolutely amazing makeup work. I don't know if this got an Oscar nomination or something. It should have. The costuming of the Bigfoot character Harry, really good makeup costuming. I don't know what you want to call it. It's incredible. It looks like a real Bigfoot. So I really love what they did with that. I don't know. I love the relationship that Harry has with the Hendersons. Harry the Bigfoot can be very scary. I remember as a kid being kind of scared of the character, but of course you learn to really like the character because he's nice. And then there's this hunter guy that's hunting Bigfoot, and Bigfoot's just trying to find his family, and that's the whole point of the movie. Yeah, and now more I think about it, I really like John Lithgow back in the 80s. He had some really good roles like this one, but so this isn't a big movie that I know of. I don't know how many people have seen this or know about this. I just happened to watch it as a kid for some reason. And so I don't know what most people think about this, but if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth a look. I thought it was a pretty good movie as a kid. So it's here at number 89, Harry and the Hendersons. Number 88 is another movie I actually really loved as a kid, and that is The Last Starfighter. This is a movie about a kid who's really good at a video game where he's like you know, a spaceship, you know, shooting at things, and he like breaks the record or something. Breaks the record on this video game, and he's like, I don't know, wherever he's living at, and some aliens, some real aliens, come down to recruit him to be an actual fighter pilot in space. It's a cool idea for a movie, especially as a kid. I loved it because I'm like, man, that'd be because I loved playing video games and I love sci-fi, and I was like, man, I would love for aliens to come down and I get to go up in space and actually be a, you know, fight aliens in a spaceship. Like, what's a cool idea for any kid? You know, would love to do that. You know, so that's always thought was as a kid, I thought that was a cool premise. You know, again, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't remember everything about it except. Yeah, you meet a lot of different aliens. Like, again, a lot of good makeup work with the aliens, and he comes like, yeah, he gets into a spaceship and gets to be a, you know, fighter pilot, whatever, in space and all that. Anyways, so again, I put it here for nostalgia reasons. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember really liking this movie and a good sci-fi kind of kid movie. So here it is, number 88, The Last Starfighter. Number 87 is definitely not a kid's movie, and that is The Shining. Really uh, iconic Stephen King written story, starring Jack Nicholson as the main character. Kind of, I think Shelley Duvall is his wife. Let's see, it's Stanley Kubrick. It's one of Stanley Kubrick's the only horror movie he ever did. It's his one of his most famous movies he did probably as well. And you're probably thinking, Jason, you're not a horror fan. Why is The Shining up here? Well, I'm not a horror fan, but I did see this movie when I was younger, though I'm pretty sure I saw the, you know, edited version of it. So I didn't see the full rated R version of it. But I don't know, I found it intriguing as a kid, I guess, and it was scary, kind of you know, thrilling. It's more thrilling than scary, I would say. Um again, I don't think I understood all the weirdness of that movie. And again, I haven't really seen the full on version probably, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but it didn't leave a mark on me, I guess, as a kid watching The Shining. And it is, for a horror movie, it's a really well like directed movie, and Jack Nicholson is so good when he goes crazy. I think my most memory thing is when, you know, Jack Nicholson character goes full on crazy, and he is so good. And you know, all play and well, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That scene is crazy. And then he's like, "Give me the bat, give me the bat. I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to hit, just want to bash your brains in." You know, it's crazy. And then you got the infamous scene. I mean, come on, one of the greatest scenes is him with the axe, axing, trying to break down the bathroom door to his wife to kill his wife. And here's Johnny. Yeah, just absolutely great moment, you know, in horror history, I would say. Again, really great performance from Jack Nicholson. I really believed he was crazy. Again, very scared for the wife and the kid's life, you know, and all that. And again, some great shots. Like obviously, you got the POV shot of Danny, the boy, as he's on his little tricycle thing and he's going through the halls, and you're seeing his point of view as he's going down these long hallways and making turns. Love that. Love how it's shot. And then he comes across the two twins who were murdered at one point, and come play with us, Danny. And then you find out that they're like ghosts and they were murdered there at the hotel. Uh, Pretty creepy. And then, of course, you got the blood coming out of the elevator scene. Great shot, great, you know, really iconic shot there and scene. I even like the end, how it ends with the picture of Jack Nicholson on that picture at the end. I was like, what is that about? Like, that was kind of a cool, like, what? Like, it was very interesting. And it's a happy ending. I guess horror movies don't always get happy endings. I thought this had, you know, I mean, the dad turned into a maniac, but the wife and son get away, you know, and yeah, I thought it was a cool ending overall. So that's why I have it. Again, it's not going to be very high because I'm not a big horror guy, but I do give its due diligence. It's iconic. So here it's at 87, The Shining. 86, I have a movie called Witness. Witness stars Harrison Ford. Danny Glover is also I know in this movie. This is movie is funny. My dad really liked this movie, and we had the VHS tape of this movie as a kid, and so I watched it with my dad as a kid because my dad really liked the movie, I guess, and so we had the VHS tape, and so this is one I was kind of familiar with, kind of as a kid, and I thought it was an interesting, of course, premise. And it deals with Harrison Ford's a like detective, or yeah, I think a homicide detective or something like that, and it deals with this Amish uh, lady and her son, and her son is in the bathroom, and he witnesses a murder. Um, Murdered by a guy was murdered by Danny Glover, who's another corrupt cop, anyways, and deals with corrupt cops stuff. But anyway, so Harrison Ford kind of gets involved with this detective work of this Amish lady and her son, trying to figure out what happened. But then he gets attacked as well, so he escapes. He gets wounded and he escapes with them to the Amish community, trying to kind of hide out from the bad guys, basically. And so he kind of implements himself into the Amish community, which is kind of interesting because he's not he doesn't believe with the Amish ways, and so overall it's a very interesting premise. Fun fact: Harrison Ford got nominated for Best Actor. The only time he ever got nominated, which is crazy because he's had such a great career. Should have been nominated multiple times in his career, and he's only got one nomination in his whole career, and that was Witness. Interestingly, and it's not one of his biggest movies, I would say, but glad he got at least one Oscar nomination out of it. Um, Another thing is, I think it's an early movie with Viggo Mortensen. I think it might have been like Viggo Mortensen's first movie. He plays one of the Amish in the community. He plays one of the Amish guys. Anyways, and it's one of those blink you'll miss it kind of roles. Not a big role, but it's kind of cool to go, oh, this is where Viggo Mortensen kind of got his start way back when. Anyway, so yeah, Witness overall a good thriller, crime thriller. Dealing with the Amish community. So it's here at number 86. Number 85, I have the comedy See No Evil, Hear No Evil. This is the third comedy kind of with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. They did Silver Streak and they did Stir Crazy. And so this is the third one. They're a little bit older here, I feel like, because I think the other ones are a little bit older. But man, they're one of the greatest comedy duos of all time. And this isn't necessarily my favorite out of the three. I would say it might be my second favorite, actually. I think I like this maybe a little bit more than Silver Streak. But anyways, it's still, I love seeing Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor together. It's been a little while since I've seen this movie, but I remember it being pretty funny. The whole premise is Gene Wilder is deaf, Richard Pryor is blind, and I think they get involved with some kind of, somebody steals something, I think, and puts it somewhere, and so the bad guys are looking for it, and they happen to be in possession of it, I think. It's something like that. I might be totally wrong. But they're kind of, and then I think they get framed, maybe even get arrested. But if I remember, there's a scene where they get arrested and they kind of get put in jail and stuff. And they get out or something, and they're being chased. And of course, the comedic premise is that one can see and one can't, and so they have to work together. One has to be the other guy's eyes, the other one has to hear for the other guy. Again, some great work. I especially love one scene. I remember for some reason Richard Pryor's character is driving this car, even though he's blind. He's driving and he's not looking at the road. And someone said, and Gene Wilder's like, it's like, you need to look at the road. And he's like, oh, if it makes you feel better. He looks at the road. He's blind, so it's like them. It's like, it doesn't matter where I'm looking. I can't see a thing. So there's some good moments like that in there, anyways. And another cool trivia: Gene Wilder met his like third and his last wife while making this movie because he was studying how to, he was studying the deaf community and learning about the deaf community. And this lady that he, I guess worked with the deaf community, he met her and they got married until he died anyway. So still, again, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember it being pretty good comedy. So it's here at number 85. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Number 84, we got All Dogs Go to Heaven. Yeah, this is definitely a nostalgia movie again when I was a kid. I really love this. It's a animated movie, and it's not Disney, and it's before DreamWorks. So I don't know who did the animation, but it wasn't a Disney movie. So I don't know. Spielberg, I think did some animation movies. I don't know if this is part of that, but anyways, yeah, I think anybody my age you talk to, we all saw All Dogs Go to Heaven. Um, be honest, it's a real tearjerker. I remember crying quite a bit as a kid watching this. Uh, we'll just say some dogs. I don't spoil too much, but someone dies, and it's very sad. But it deals with these dogs, talking dogs, and they're like working for this mobster or something. And then I got to spoil a little bit because it's part of the plot, but the main dog, he dies. He gets murdered by this mobster, but then he kind of figures a way to get back into his body from heaven, and because he goes to heaven, because it's called All Dogs Go to Heaven. So he's in heaven, and he figures out a way to get back to his body, and he tries to use his time to help this girl because this girl's in trouble. I think his owner or something like that is in trouble, so he's trying to help her, and even sacrifices himself towards the end for her. So it's very sweet. I said tearjerker at the end, but from member, it was a very funny movie, and if you like dogs, it's a good movie to watch. I think good animated, solid anime movie. Here at number 84, All Dogs Go to Heaven. 83, I got another really good comedy called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And again, I don't know if this is as well known today. This is another one I remember watching as a kid. It's funny, a lot of these I just remember. Again, I was born in the 80s, but didn't see any of these in the movies. It wasn't until the 90s I caught all this stuff on TV as a kid. So a lot of nostalgia stuff for me. But yeah, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I feel like my dad maybe watched this with me because I think maybe he's the one that introduced me to this movie because maybe he's seen it before and he liked it. I may be wrong, but anyways, but man, what a cast! You got Michael Caine and Steve Martin, and I was a big Steve Martin fan as a kid. Of course, I saw him stuff like Saturday Night Live and a lot of movies at the time. I definitely was like, anytime Steve Martin's in a movie, I'm going to watch it. I was a big fan of his, and I didn't know who Michael Caine I don't think was at the time, but interesting that you got him in here as well. But mostly are both scam artists that scam rich people out of their money, and they come up with these really great scams, and they pretend to be someone they're not, and in order to manipulate these people into getting their money or whatever. Anyway, that's kind of what they are, and they're kind of competing for this one lady who's like, I guess, rich or something, if I remember right. And the woman that's in it, I think her name's Glenn Headley or something like that, if I remember right. Really wonderful actress. She was also in Mr. Holland's Opus, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and she gave a great performance there. She was also like in Dick Tracy, so she's been some stuff here and there. She's not a big named actress, but man, she's a good actress. I think she's more of a stage actress than a movie actress, but this is a good role for her. One of her probably biggest roles that she had, and she's really good here as the female that they're trying to get money out of. Um, Very funny back and forth between Michael Caine and Steve Martin, especially Steve Martin is so good here. One of my favorite is there's a scene where he pretends to be mentally handicapped character, and Steve Martin, of course, goes all out playing this mentally handicapped, character, and he has like an eye patch, and he keeps moving the eye patch from eye to eye. And at one point, I think he pretends to stab himself in the eye with his fork or something. And maybe the funniest moment for me as a kid is he says, "May I go to the bathroom?" And the person says, "Yeah, go ahead." And then he stops and kind of pauses for a second, and goes, "Thank you." Like he just went to, instead of you thinking he's going to go, he's excused himself to go find the bathroom, but instead when he says, "May I go to the bathroom?" They said yes. The idea is that he just went bathroom with his pants. I mean, so it's bathroom humor, but the way Steve Martin plays it off, it's a very funny moment anyway. So, but yeah, definitely a solid comedy. Again, I hadn't seen it in a while. Definitely one I need to catch again. But definitely watch this if you haven't seen it. Great Steve Martin is really at his A game at this moment. So yeah, Dirty Rotten Scandals here at 83. 82, I have A Christmas Story. If you know me, I do love Christmas movies, so you're gonna see a lot of Christmas movies probably in my list here. I think I have a couple more, but Christmas Story is it's an '80s classic, I think, of Christmas movies. It's funny, I didn't see it as a kid, actually. It wasn't until I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I finally caught on to this movie. I do remember seeing commercials for this movie as a kid, and they scared me. This movie scared me as a kid because I remember seeing commercials where, like, that scene where he's on the slide and the Santa Claus, the mall Santa Claus, goes ho 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 and kicks and like kind of nudges his face with his foot, and then he falls down the slide. I don't know why that disturbed me as a kid. Like when I was a little kid and I saw that commercial, I remember being like, what, Santa Claus? What is going on? Why is Santa Claus being so mean to this kid? And I don't know, it just really bothered me for a while. So I kind of kept away from this movie just because I had some bad memories as a kid watching like the commercials for this. I know it's a weird thing to say, but that's the truth. I still remember that today, being disturbed by the commercial, the trailer of this movie. And you got that moment where the kid like gets his tongue stuck on the pole, the ice pole. That bothered me as a kid as well. So a lot of imageries can bother me as a kid, and this is one of those where I just like this. I thought it was a horror movie. I'll be honest. I was like, is this like a horror movie? So I didn't watch this movie for the longest time. Like I said, maybe 10 years ago, I finally was like, I need to watch this movie because it's on every Christmas. And I finally watched it, and I was like, yeah, this is real fun. It's a really cool, kind of story about, it does such a good job of like showing like what it's like to be a kid during Christmas time and the excitement you have for Christmas. And the narration is very good. Like narration really is, and sometimes narration can be too much, but for this movie, narration really worked for the character, getting the inner thoughts of the character and everything. And again, you just feel for like that because man, I have so many good memories as a kid. Christmas was so exciting. It was like, I don't get excited for Christmas really anymore. And like, man, I wish I could go back to those days when I was a kid and I was like so excited for Christmas because there's nothing better than Christmas time. So I love that. The whole atmosphere of Christmas in this movie is really good. And my favorite moment is the whole movie. He wants a Red Ryder BB gun, and everybody says, "You'll shoot your out, kid. You'll shoot your eye out, kid." Even the mall Santa Claus, he says, "I want a Red Ryder BB gun," and the Santa Claus, who doesn't know him at all, says, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." And then that's the moment he kicks him down the slide. And then he finally, at the end of the movie, I'm spoiling the movie, but it's funny. He gets a Red Ryder BB gun, the thing he wanted so badly. And the first thing he does is he goes out and he shoots it, and it ricochets and hits him back in the eye. And he knocks him down, and knocks his glasses off. And he goes, "I shot my eye out." It's, oh my gosh. I've never seen that and just died laughing at that. I thought that was such a great callback to the whole movie. Anyways, it's a fun movie about Christmas, I think, and what it's like to be a kid during Christmas time. So I have her 82, A Christmas Story. Last movie I have on my list, 81, I have Police Academy. Again, this definitely was a movie I loved as a kid. I must have caught this on TV, the edited version. Again, not the rated R version. It wasn't until later I saw the rated R version. I go, wow, I didn't know how rated R this movie is. Because the sequels are all like PG-13. I think this is the only rated R movie in the group. So I don't know why they decided to go rated R here and then go PG-13 in the other ones. But so I missed a lot of that as a kid, but I still had so much fun with this movie. Another classic comedy of the 80s period. Love all the different characters, that become, it's all about these, new recruits and trying to be police officers, and they're all kind of competent in different ways, or they all have different, quirks about them. Very quirky comedy, in a sense, and then Steve Guttenberg is so good as the lead, as like this troublemaker who doesn't really want to be there and kind of is trying to get himself kicked out. The guy who plays like their commander or whatever, that's teaching them how to be police officers. Great villainous kind of character. He's a real jerk. Really well acted there. And again, love like Hightower. He's a huge dude. My favorite character has always been the guy that can make noises with his mouth, who he does in real life. I think his real name is like Wilson or Winslow or something like that. Who's like a stand-up comedian or something in real life. And I watch a lot of his stuff. It's so funny watching him because, man, I can't believe the noises that he can make out of his mouth. And that character is so fun. I mean, the different pranks he can pull on people with the voice and everything. Always love that character. It's probably my favorite character in the show. But You got the guy who's real trigger happy. He can be very funny because he just constantly wants to shoot guns. Yeah, so there's definitely some great characters that I really love in this show, in this movie. And the first movie, very solid comedy, I think. I want to say the second one's pretty good too, but then it kind of falls off after that. I think I've seen 3 or 4. There's like maybe 4 or 5 movies in this. And T. Gruenberg is only in the first couple, I think, and then he disappears. Anyways, but needless to say, it's a classic comedy. It's definitely, again, if we're talking about the 80s, I feel like you have to watch Police Academy. It's definitely an 80s staple, in my opinion, as a comedy. So 81, we got the Police Academy. All right, so that's the end of my list for today. We got through 90 through 81. A lot of great classics, some hopefully hidden gems here. Hopefully you watch them or think about watching them. Check them out if you ever see them anywhere. Anyway, besides that, comment down below. What do you think about these movies? Have you seen them? Love to hear your comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. Thank you so much for Ryan for suggesting this to me. Really appreciate you, Ryan, for entering in the contest and all that. So thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you. Hope you guys